Good day, lords and ladies, and welcome back to Age of Fear 2 at the Chaos Lords. Now, for some reason, I do not know why, my game audio has not recorded properly, so you won't have any of the effects today. It's rather unfortunate. I don't know why it's done this. It was working perfectly fine for me when I was recording. It's probably just something's happened to my headset. But we can press on as always. This is post-commentary. My initial plan had been to take the High Priest, you can see take this gentleman here hostage and use him to heal ourselves. Unfortunately, he has Iron Mind, which means that he cannot be enslaved, which is annoying. I considered the mage as well, but he has Iron Mind as well. So then I went through a couple of other units that might be interesting. I looked at the construct, but it doesn't say it here. But in the enslaved tab, they cannot be, can't be used on constructs either, which I think is a bit of a shame. I can sort of understand where they're coming from though, but it's a bit of a shame. I'd have liked to have taken the Ballistica, take the Ballistica and used it in my own forces. But that's not going to happen. So we should get straight into this. As always, I am sorry about the lack of audio. I don't know why it's done this. It's annoying on no end for me, but it's annoying. My brain is not working today. It's no end of annoying, I suppose you could say, for me, for this particular thing, but it's can't be helped. We're going to press on now. The basic plan I have developed for this is to, since I can't take any of these guys up here hostage and use them, and the other guys don't really interest me, I am going to get all my forces as close as possible to them, charge the Goblin Sappers in using my potion combinations. Once the sappers are detonated and hopefully either demoralised or killed off as most of the enemy VIP units as possible, I will then charge across and kill them. At this point, though, I was still under the impression that I could take control of the Ballistica, so I was attempting to capture it alive. Unfortunately, that means you need to reduce the creature to 1 HP to do it. It's a shame. I don't know about it. I think that you should be able to take. I don't know. Maybe they could like make a subgroup. Like instead of it just being like constructs, it could be like siege engines or something. Thus, you could capture siege engines, but you couldn't capture constructs like stone golems or something. Because for me, you should be able to capture a Ballistica. It's like, yeah, you take the Ballistica, you get someone that knows how to use it, and you basically make it work for you. So I'm not particularly, I don't know, it feels a bit annoying because from what I can tell, there isn't really, enslaved isn't that useful then, because you can't take constructs, you can't take anybody with Iron Mind, which means most of the high-end units are pretty much unavailable to you. So I have to sort of raise the question, what's the point of using it? You can't, I don't want to use Iron Mind on a ranger or something. I'd have no use for them. I mean, yeah, they give you a bit of range support, but I'd rather have a goblin assassin than I would have a human ranger. I don't know, it seems like the enslaved ability is a really nice ability in theory, but a lot of the stuff that you would want to take with it doesn't work, so there's no point in having it. I'm stacking up the units here in the order that I want to sort of send them into combat. I want to send my big heavy hitters in. I kept the Black Orc at the back to start off with just because he basically suffers from Berserk, which means he's really unusable if you only have one attack, so I need to get him to double attacks where he can be a bit more usable. Now my plan is really simple. I've decided that I'm going to try and neutralise that far right groups, try and kill as many of them as possible, and then we'll swing around to the left and deal with the people inside the gatehouse. To be honest, I was expecting more people. This is supposed to be a castle, I thought there'd be more people here. But next turn everything is going to go to plan, so we move everybody up, making sure that they're out of range of the enemy units. This is all like, to be honest, I can see where the night fight ability, like the infravision ability, would be useful to a certain extent, but at the same time, this tactic works really well. It's very orcish, we'll get everybody up in formation, and literally everyone is going to charge. Did a bit of a poor tactical move there. I sort of moved the assassins first, then moved the rest of the units, so they had a bit more leeway. I am also throwing the NPC assassins first rather than my trained elite assassins, because they're basically cannon fodder and they're worth little to me. My actual trained assassins are worth a lot. And here we go, next turn into the breach. It's going to be interesting. Alright, so we start, first we do the combo of potions. I find Hero Potion works very well for this. First we pop the potion of Swiftness, which will boost their movement rapidly. Then the Hero Potion. And then we charge him straight into the middle of the formation. That wakes everybody up. Doesn't matter, I can pop it right now. And we literally disintegrate the entire group with one hit, which I'm very, very happy about. The benefit of it also breaks the enemy wizard who runs off. The other goblin's going to pop his potion, and I decided that I'm going to try and neutralise these gate guards, because I want to try and get in and get the Ballistica. It doesn't work. I kill off the 2 knights, which is nice. And then we charge across the bridge. I try and also soften up this guy with some poison stuff, so it'll be quicker to go down, so he's not going to tie us up. It doesn't really work. I remember I try and throw a stone at him as well, which is nice. Deeply wound him with the stone throw, and then finish him off with an Orcus charge. And we pretty much gutted most of them at this point. To be honest, I was surprised they kept fighting at this point. They had very little people left. I thought most of them units were broken. I'm going to charge up my harder hitting units, spread them out. Also spread them out farther, so any area of effect abilities that the enemy may be throwing at me, using that flame archer that I can see him hiding at the back there, isn't so damaging. But we're going to pour up. Start putting my useful assassins in slightly better position. Move my mages up as well. Also keeping a couple of units at the back just in case we get attacked, like enemy reinforcements or something turn up. Fires with the Ballistica and misses. Keeps shooting at me with a couple of bits of damage. That cracked skull annoyed me no end though. They block the doorway, which is annoying. I want to try and get past them, so I use Disintegrate. I just consider using Chain Lightning, but there's no one really within distance to use it on. Consider summoning a demon, but I use Disintegration instead. This is really nasty at this level, and I just take out annoying blocking units, and now I've got a nice open pathway for my own men to charge straight in. Taz goes up first, starts swacking away at people and stunning them. Really nice damage he's doing, and then I send in Katzog to basically deal with them. I have forgotten at this point to equip my my chieftain's war axe, which means he's still using the dragon's teeth, which is okay. It's not doing as much damage as I would like. Pin this guy up top using some of my other units so he can't get around and cause me problems in the back. And everybody else starts to pour up. This is the only issue I have now, is the fact that I basically block, there's a choke point, I've got people stacked outside, and the enemy units can start shooting at me at their leisure, which is a bit annoying. So I had to be a bit careful about sending my mages and stuff forward in case the Ballistica took an interest and decided to fill me through giant holes. But it seems to be going relatively well. I send some of the disposable assassins up to cover and start to shoot at units, because I'm not too worried about losing them. They're all trying to beat down my main character. This is going like surprisingly straightforward fight, to be honest. No one was in range besides that guy, didn't really matter, so I just disintegrated him as well. Really nice ability, so nice to have, just taking out annoying delaying units like that, like the Royal Guard, who are just tanky, just destroying them. Let's have a look here. This is when I realise I don't actually have my Chieftain's War Axe on, which is annoying. But hey ho. I'm going to press on anyway. No one really in range, so anything I can do, which is annoying. Wanted to see if he was in range, but he wasn't, and I can't really get any closer either. The assassin was in range, so I started taking pot shots, preparing myself for actually capturing the ballistica, which was a shame because we couldn't do it. So, still hesitant about sending my mages up in case I get sniped by the enemy. Ballistica tries to kill off the low-level golden assassin, and Taz lays into that guy. I'm trying to kill him off using my other units so I don't have to worry about it, but it's not going to work, so I move my units up and just start to kill him. It's a good strategy. I mean, I had no problems with it. It worked straightforward. Took a bit of a hit from the ballistica. At this point I realised that I can't take him, which is annoying. And I check, yeah, here, this is where I check constructs, and it's like, so annoying. If only I could have taken him, and it would have been a perfect situation. I don't care about the fire archer, I've got no interest in the fire archer. So, just keep going. It's a bit frustrating in some ways, I won't lie. Take out the ballistica. That archer panics and runs off. I mean, to be honest, I haven't seen much use for having the enslavement ability unless, I mean, do demons in this game count as elementals? I have to ask the developers, because if they do, then the enslavability is pretty useless. I mean, you don't get it late enough to matter against, say, fighting high-level orcs. A lot of the high-level human player units will have iron mines, they're pointless. At long last, after much brutal fighting, Catsog clan had taken Wurm Castle. Every treasure in the castle has been plundered and brought before Catsog, along with many humans who were found in hiding. Catsog chieftain, what do we do about humans found? Asked one of Catsog's warriors. Scared little humans, no threat, humans serve Catsog. Catsog castle and treasure. Catsog have much land, nothing stand in Catsog's way now. Yes, I'm sorry about my audio not working for some reason. I don't know why it's done it. Just one of those days, I suppose, which is frustrating. Anywho, so we're going to continue. A whole load of stuff will pop up in the world map. We got a nice chunk of money. We got the bazaar again, which is nice. These magical crystals, I'm not particularly bothered by them, to be honest. So let's first have a look at some of the other stuff. I do like this world map, it is very pleasant. Encounter a mermaid on the beach for the exchange of a pearl. That's a nice little thing, we'll saw that off in a bit. Mage's Bazaar, which is very, very pleasant. We got our units back, get to up-level them, upgrade them. I took parry, it's a useful ability to have. Maybe I should have saved other stuff, but parry is just useful, especially if you get jumped by multiple enemies in combat. I decided, through looking through Hurl's stuff, I considered some of the other spells, but I like the combination he has now. I just need more mana, so I just basically get Arcane Master and boost my mana even more. He needs to get healed because he's got a cracked skull, which is annoying as anything. I must admit, I'm just going through leveling people up. I must admit the addition of injuries into this game really has made it a lot more tactical. You had to be so much more careful about how you use your units, and you definitely need to have people in reserve. Not having people in reserve in this game now is dangerous, because obviously the unit, if it takes a penalty, like takes an injury and you heal it, will be out of combat for a turn, so you need to have someone that's capable enough to step in and fill the gap. Picked up the Greater War Rune for Taz, just making it even more nasty. And a smattering of other skills. Picked up like the double attack for the Black Orcs, which will be nice. saving up for the experience level bits and pieces, picked up the next level of experience, the next experience for the assassins, and then picked them up Iron Mind, because the last thing I want is for them to start to go mental and try and kill me. Maybe I should have picked up Infrared Warrior, like the Infravision, like the nighttime ability, but I don't know. My tactics for like the goblins and like for the goblin sappers in this game, I don't know. You'd probably have to kill people quite quickly with it as well, which I don't know how well that would work. Upgrade them to the next level so it's got more mana and more HP. Make them regulars, which will give away some more stuff. I considered getting poison immunity, but I thought no, get veteran. The next experience bracket, as it were, the next badge is always much better than any of the other abilities, so you should always get it before you get anything else, unless it's something like double damage. If it's just a raw damage upgrade, those maybe take precedent, but I would prefer to get a tier upgrade for anything that's to make them like a veteran or something, outsourcing my goblins with the best magical potions can buy. Very nice as always. Let's see. Yeah, that multiple attack is multi-attack is really nice for the Black Orcs. I suggest you get it, otherwise your Black Orcs don't really accomplish much. Everybody else I'm sort of leaving over. Gonna probably bring this guy up to Warlock as well, and he has enough experience for it. These Goblin Sappers are now fully trained as well, which is absolutely fantastic. Which means that if I get into a really sticky situation, I can just pull out 4 fully equipped Goblin Sappers and just chuck them at people. That would be enough to break most enemies. To be honest, if I'd done that in the last fight, there wouldn't be really anybody left to fight me. I could have just cleared out most of the castle just using Goblin Sappers. Make those Goblin Assassins, Night Fighters, the other guys are all ticking over, and I start looking at item choices. First off, I take off the Dragon Teeth because it needs to be, and put the Bloody Axe on, because that's really nice for him. One thing I will say is that the items don't seem to change in these things, which is a bit of a shame. I consider switching out his armour, but the Quicksilver ability is really nice. Unit can only take 1 point of damage from any one source, which is really nice. Look through the items, bits and pieces. So this is what the rest of the episode is basically about, folks. It's me basically equipping stuff that I have a nice wide range of items. The only downside with picking up for Infernal Candle, which gives me summon demon ability, is the fact that it makes me evil, which means that I can't use the resurrection bead, like the rosary beads. The rosary beads are an ability that you can only use. It's an item you can only use if you are good, and unfortunately, Hurl is definitely no longer good, which is a shame. I consider getting him the Archmage robes, but as always, folks, as you can probably see, I'm going to make a mistake here, because I don't read my character's profile, and because I've been playing too many RPGs over the years, whenever I see mage, I just consider it means to all magic users. So I make a mistake that you've seen me make before. As you can see, we can also see I can't use the Divine Cross, which is what I was trying to buy, because obviously I am now evil to the core, which is a bit of a shame. A lot of the other necromantic stuff I can't use either. I pick up the study book. It's useful, gives me a nice XP boost, so I pick that up. You can never have I find in my experience you can never have too much XP with your magical casters and your magical casting units. The more XP they can get, the more spells and other perks and abilities they can get, because you're never going to max the spellcasters out by the end of the game. There's always too many things for them to learn normally. So I pick up 1 or 2 things, have a look around, consider my options about getting the armor. I don't get it because it has the Iron Mind, which is a really nice ability, but I really want the Archmage robes. Still not noticing that my character is technically a shaman and not a mage, which is it's a bit of a shame. But yeah, by this point, Hurl is an absolute monster of a magical caster. I mean, he's no way as nasty as the necromancer from the first game, whose name escapes me. Korax, was it Korax? Krill, the necromancer Krill. Necromancer Krill in the first game was like, by the time I'd finished making him, he was like an absolute beast of a magic user. I mean, an absolute beast. This guy is pretty strong, but Krill could still take in the town and take the other shamans in my party to the town at the same time. So we go over to the magical use, the artificer, have a look at items in here. And there's some nice stuff. I mean, they put the swamp mace in. Unfortunately, I've forgotten that what I needed was basically the swamp mace, and it was the swamp mace and the ogre's hammer or something, wasn't it? Because that was the one way I was doing double damage. But now I have the stuff I need. Consider getting these the armors, because they're really, really nice. Up my defense, up my attack. Something really, really nice. Though I do like the Quicksilver ability, because it prevents my character from getting an absolute ton of damage done to him. So, pardon me, I do excuse me. So I'm just going for the items, looking at various bits and pieces, just contemplating stuff over in my mind. Nothing really here that I want. So I'm finished there. I decided I'll go and check out the smuggler's place, because I haven't actually checked out the items in the smuggler's den, which is probably something useful. I also decided to go and check out the mermaids. Mermaid says, for exchange of a pearl I can dive and bring you what I find. What would you say? This is basically like a random encounter kind of thing, where you basically offer up a 300 gold item, which is a pearl, and in exchange they bring you a random item. Now, it may be absolutely fantastic, it may be absolutely naff, but that's the chance element that you do. We go back to the items now. The all-seeing eye. Now, this is the plan that I had. I was going to get the all-seeing eye. I bought the all-seeing eye. I bought it for Hurl, because I was going to give it to him. Then I could change him over and have the lovely Archmage's robes. Unfortunately, the Archmage's robes do not work with shamans. I also consider the Amulet of Destruction, which would be really nice. I don't know if they stack though. I don't know, because he's already got double damage with his weapon. If the developers could tell me in the comment section if double damage stacks, so I could have like quadruple damage, like every time I hit I do 4 points of damage or something. That would be good to know, because it has some pretty nasty buffs. I don't like the -1 attack and -1 defense. Isn't something I'm particularly keen on. I could counter it by buying better armor for him. But as I've been saying, I really like the Quicksilver ability. Only taking 1 point of damage taking only 1 point of damage from one source each, like when they hit you, is really powerful. Really powerful. To the extent where I could probably go toe to toe with like several large monsters and not take much damage, which is insane. Because eventually you're going to get hit in this game, so it's better to mitigate damage than it. Well, there's two schools of thought. You can either not get hit or mitigate, and the problem is in this game you're going to get hit eventually, so it's better to mitigate it in my experience. Went to buy the Archmage's robes, still not realising that they are for mages and not for shamans, which is a bit of a shame. So I'd have liked that for Hurl, so I basically buy that, and I make the mistake of selling my old armour before I put it on, only to realise, yep, I can't equip it. And now I'm looking like a fool. So I quietly cursed myself, get a bit annoyed, because this is the second time I've done it into the many episodes. Have to buy the crystal armour again, which cost me an absolute small fortune. Equip it, and here we go. Very nice indeed. We also get to check out what the mermaid will do, because I picked up a pearl. So we can go back to the mermaid and hand over said pearl, and you get a random item. It's randomized, so it's a bit like lucky pick or pick a mix. Quickly dives into the river. After a brief pause, he retakes surface and hands you the item, which is basically quality armor, which is not fantastic. But hey ho, what can you do about it? And that's pretty much where we're going to end for this video. If you guys have liked, as always, please press the like button. If you wish to subscribe, please press the subscription button. You can follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Steam, you can leave a comment in the comment section. If you have any questions or suggestions for the developers, you can leave a comment on here, and I know for a fact that they basically watch my videos so that they'll see your comments and they'll get right back to you. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I shall see you all next time on the next episode of Age of Fear 2: The Chaos Lords. Goodbye.